We continue now at the top of Daf Vav Amud Aleph and Meseches Nedarim. This is Nedarim Daf 6a. And the previous Amud, the Gemara said that Rava could even follow the Rabbanan. And the Rabbanan, they only do not require Yadayim Mochichos by get. Why? De'ein Adam Megarish es Eshes Chavera, because a person is never going to divorce the wife of his friend. It's obvious that he means to divorce his own wife. Aval Bi'alma Mishamatlu, but in other situations, who says they don't require Yadayim Mochichos? It could very well be that the Rabbanan would require Yadayim Mochichos. And the Gemara continues, Meisvei, we have the following question. The Brisa says, Harehu alai, Hareza alai, Aser memneshu yad lekarbon. If a person says a language of Harehu alai, it is upon me, but he doesn't finish the statement, but we understand that that is a yad, that is a partial phrase. He really meant to say that this item is upon me like a carbon. I'm prohibiting this to me. And so the Gemara now says, Taima de Amar Alai hu de Aser. The only reason why it's Aser is because he added the word Alai upon me, and therefore it's Yadayim Mochichos. It's 100% clear that that is what he meant. Avolo Amar Alai lo, but apparently if he did not say Alai, then we would say that it's nothing. And so it shows you that you do require Yadayim Mochichos. And the Gemara says, Tiyufta de Abaya. This seems to be a refutation of Abaya, who says that you don't have to have Yadayim Mochichos, even if the partial phrase is not 100% clear what it means. It is going to be sufficient according to Abaya. But Amar lach Abaya, Abaya will respond to you, no, Taimud Amar Olai hu de Aser. It's only Aser because he said the word Olai. Avol Amar Harehu velo Amar Olai. But if the person said Harehu without adding the Olai, so then it could have totally different meanings. It's not even at the level of Yadayim Sheina Mochichos. It's nothing. Harehu de Hefker. Maybe he's saying that this item should be Hefker. Harehu de Tzedakah Kavar. Maybe he's saying that this item should be Tzedakah, and therefore this is not a situation where the Olai is because you require Yadayim Mochichos. It's because without an Olai, it's not clear at all what is going on. And the Mefarish says over here, Amar lach Abaya, Liolam lo bo'in on Yadayim Mochichos. It could be really we don't require Yadayim Mochichos. V'hachaynu taima di lo Amar beloshen carbon. If you don't say the Harehu Olai, which is the normal language used by a carbon, lo mitzvah, it's not aser. The Dilma Harehu Hefker cover. Maybe he's saying Hefker. The Mochichos hu lehefker or letzdaka could very well be that it's Mochiach lehefker or letzdaka. Therefore, it's not even at the level of Yadayim she'ein Mochichos, and that's why over here there's a requirement to say the word Olai. Again, the person has to say Harehu alai or Harezeh alai, and otherwise it is not going to work. But the Gemara doesn't like this answer, and the Gemara asks, V'ham mipnei shehu yad lekarbon katani. But the language of the Brisa says the reason why you say this is because it is a yad lekarbon. And so therefore, as the Mefarish over here says, V'ham mipnei shehu yad lekarbon ka'amar da aser kikarbon, meaning to say that when you say this phrase, it's like he's saying it's aser like a carbon. V'lo matzis amrit letzdaka or lehefker have a mashma. You can't say that it really would have meant to be mashma, or that it really would have implied tzedakah or hefker. It's obvious. It says in the language of the Brisa, mipnei shehu yad lekarbon, that you have to say the olai because that is the phrase that makes it a yad lekarbon. And so the Gemara says, Ella Ema, rather say it as follows. Taima do Amar Olai hu Aser. The reason why it's Aser is because he said Olai, v'chaveiro mutter. That's why hu Aser, v'chaveiro mutter. That's why it's Aser to him, but it's mutter to his friend. He's saying, Harei hu Olai, it is upon me. This item is to me like a carbon. It's going to be Aser to me. Avol Amar Harei hu, but if he would say Harei hu, so yes, it is true. It is obvious, or it's obvious enough at least to say that it's referring to a carbon. But if he says Harei hu, Shnei and Aser, and then it could be they're both Aser. It could be what he's saying is this item is not only prohibited to me, I'm also prohibiting this item to everybody else. The dilma harehu hektish kamer, because that could be what he really means is harehu hektish. In other words, what we're saying is that the olai, the reason why you need the olai is because without the olai, it's still going to be in the category of carbon, in the category of prohibition, but it might be prohibited to everybody because it might be considered like hektish. And the Gemara continues, Meisvei, we have a question from a Tosefta. The Tosefta says, Harezu chatos, harezu asham. Let's say a person points to a particular animal, says, this is going to be a chatos, this is going to be an asham. Afal pishu chayev chatos v'asham. Even though he happens to be chayev chatos and an asham, lo amar klum, that's nothing. Harezu chatosi, harezu asham. But if he says, this is my carbon chatos, this is my carbon asham, so im hayem mechuyev devarav kayam. And so if he was chayev chatos or an asham, so then what he said is going to be effective. And the Gemara again asks along the same lines to Yufta di Abaya. There seems to be a refutation of Abaya. You need to say Chatosi, you need to say Ashami, because apparently you do need Yadayim Mochichos. And to this the Gemara answers, Amar lach Abaya. Abaya will respond to you, Hom moni Rabbi Yehudahi. This Tosefta is following the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. Like we said on the previous Amud, Rabbi Yehuda does require Yadayim Mochichos. But the Gemara says it's not a good answer. But Abaye said in the previous Amud that he's going even according to Rabbi Yehuda. Abaye said that he does not require Yadayim Mochichos, and maybe Rabbi Yehuda only requires Yadayim Mochichos when it comes to get. So therefore you can't answer, Abaye cannot answer that this Tosefta follows Rabbi Yehuda. And the Gemara says, Hadar Bey. Abaye retracted from that position, and Abaye admits that he cannot follow the position of Rabbi Yehuda, because Rabbi Yehuda would say that we do require Yadayim Mochichos all the time. But the Gemara says, Elolema Rava D'Amar Rabbi Yehuda. But let us say that maybe Rava, maybe he only follows Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda again says that we require Yadayim Mochichos, and Rava says we require Yadayim Mochichos. And the Gemara says, no, Amar Lach Rava. Rava can respond to you. Anadi Amri Afilu Rabbanon. Like we said before, I follow even the Rabbanon. Adkan Lo Ka'amri Rabbanon Delo Bo'inon Yadayim Mochichos Ela Gabe Get. It could be that the Rabbanon only don't require Yadayim Mochichos by get. De'inod Megarish Aseishes Chaver, because it's impossible for a person to divorce the wife of his friend. Avol Bialma, but it could be in normal situations. Bo'inon Yadayim Mochichos, the Rabbanon would admit that we require Yadayim Mochichos, and the Rabbanon would align with my position, meaning with Rava's position. And we'll continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Vav Amud Beis.